Hello everyone, this is HG Johnny. I'm here to do a quick overview of the new Monk Toolbox. I know a lot of you have been curious as to how it actually works, so I'm going to sit here and just do a little brief walkthrough, show you what you need to do when you first open it up and what it all will give you. So bear with me here, this is my first YouTube video. Alright, so we'll just go to the first page. I've changed it a little bit. I've got the customary, hey, this is what's kind of going on. Here's the steps. Here are the notes. The steps have been whittled down from 5 to 3. As you'll see as we go through here, I try to consolidate it based on user feedback. Basically they were saying it was getting too cumbersome, too hard to navigate. So I've tried to automate it where I could, and we'll just go through it as go across these tabs. Okay, now the first tab you're going to come to is the Inputs tab. What that is basically a consolidation of what used to be DPS stats, life regen, and EHP, and I put everything on one tab to make it easier for you guys. All the yellow highlighted cells here are user input. Alright, so we talk about the actual DPS stats. We go down, as you come across different cells, sometimes you'll see a little red triangle at the top. That means there's a comment associated with it, and I try to give more explanation with those comments as to what that cell's looking for and the kind of information that you may put in there. Also, as you go down through here, on different sheets, you'll notice this little X. I'm sorry, this little plus. What that does, it's a link, basically, to a document or to a forum post that explains a particular area a little bit better. So in this case, the added elemental damage and the bonus lightning damage. You may have remembered that we had a little forum post about what these mean and how do you calculate that kind of stuff, and so that's what the link takes you to. As you go down here, you have your main hand and your offhand. Again, the yellow values is what you fill out. The gray values here are auto-calculated based on those inputs. I also set it up so that now it auto-calculates the min and max damage. Physical damage, I'm sorry, for both the main hand and the offhand. Here's your scram. Basically, this is your actual DPS. It should match what the game shows you. Down here is your EDPS. This is the hidden stuff that you don't see, but it's really the magic behind the monk. As we go up here, this is another damage section, specifically deals with the average damage affix that you find on jewelry. I did this for a couple reasons. One, to show basically how important average damage is to the monk. Like in my case, average damage comprises 14% of my total DPS. But more so, to show you a couple of different things. There's a hidden damage affix that will sometimes roll on jewelry, and you won't see it in game, you won't see it in the auction house, but you will see it in D3 up. So if you were to bring up an item, I'm going to bring my browser over here and show you real quick. This is my witch doctor. Now let's take a look at my ring. Okay, so my ring here. You see I have 13 and 24 min max, but I also have a 32 min damage. Now normally you would think that the min max would be, I'm sorry, that the average damage would be your min max divided by 2. And that's true normally. But sometimes jewelry will roll an extra value, in this case an extra min. Now if the two mins added together are higher than the max damage listed, then that sum becomes your average damage. So in this case, my average damage for this ring is 45. So now back to the calculator. So what you do here is basically you just fill out your normal mins and maxes. You see them on your affix, and then I have a hidden min and hidden max. So in this case, if I was to put 50 up here, we would expect this to go to 82 and this to go to 82. So if I click outside, you can see that it does. So that's kind of a way to tell or to show how the hidden damage affix may affect your overall DPS. So we'll go back and get rid of that. Alright, the calculator, this is pretty much the part you need to enter right here, the min-max. This just shows you, hey, if I have 5 extra DPS or 5 extra average damage, how much extra DPS is that? It'll give you a actual numerical change right here. Down here at the bottom are your typical life regen and your EHP. input boxes that we had before. Okay, so once you have all this stuff filled out, and it's pretty self-explanatory, maybe I should touch base real quick over here again. So the base APS is based on what type of weapon it is. So if it's a sword or a fist weapon, it's going to be 1.4. If it's a dagger, it'll be 1.5. So the base DPS. This weapon's attack speed bonus will be shown as a stat on the weapon, as will this attacks per second. Now, this is typically only associated with Echo Furies. So that's kind of an easy one. Min base, min max, this is the damage range beneath the actual DPS value of the weapon. And then you have your min elemental and your max elemental, and that'll be another line item on your stat sheet of the weapon itself. And once you have all that in there, like I said, the spreadsheet will calculate your min physical and your max physical. Alright, so that's basically that sheet. So that's the primary user interface you have as far as inputting your damage. Next, you go to buffs. All right, now this may look like an NCAA tournament bracket, but I completely revamped this because I think it flows a little better and it shows more of what you're doing when you're on this particular screen. As before, you have your particular your buffs kind of going around in a circle here, and each buff has a corresponding little red box that shows what exactly it does. For example, Combination Strike provides an 8% DPS bonus for each generator used, even if you're only using one, and that's kind of an important note. Something like Deadly Reach Foresight. I put this here because sometimes Deadly Reach Foresight is used as one of your generators in a triple generator setup, but you still have to enable Foresight before the bonus itself will get applied to the center area here. This is another new addition because I got tired of bouncing back and forth between tabs trying to figure out how much DPS I had. So basically these are all toggle things. Yes, no's, okay? That's how you click on them. Again, the red diamonds for more information. A little bit more information on the Scoundrels and Enchantress's skills right down here. Okay, so these are the two basic sheets you guys are going to be using. You have your inputs where you put in all your numerical stuff from your gear, and your buffs based on what you want to run for skills and stuff. And then you come to the summary, and that's pretty much self-explanatory, right? It hasn't changed very at all, actually. Next, we go to the Spirit Calculator tab. Over here, primarily Tempest Rush setup. All right. If you want to change these values, you click, and I have it minimized right now, but the cell formula will pop up, and you just change the numerical value, click out, and it'll be saved. Over here is your Combat Spirit generator, and the ones in bold here are basically the highest values you get, and it's based on your attack speed, crit hit chance, and IAS bonus. But you don't have to fill anything in here. It auto-populates attack speed and crit chance. Okay. Now we'll go to damage reduction. Change this one around a little bit. So this side over here auto-populates with your life bonus, vitality, armor, and resist as seen on the input section. I left in bonus reduction from gear. I was 50-50 on this one. Keep in mind this is situational, right? So this is stuff like +% bonus to elites, +% reduction from damage for range or what have you. I left it in there because some people like it. This also has a little X up here, I'm sorry, and a plus, and that'll take you to the EHP 101 document that I wrote that deals a lot with this chart. Okay, so that's pretty self-explanatory. This side is still customizable in all areas here. Again, the yellows are user input, the grays are calculated values. All right, next we jump over to the various tab. I tried to keep from putting an overabundance of calculators in here because I thought it was starting to clutter it. So I kind of went with the keep it simple model, and basically, as before, we have your health from lifesteal, your life per spirit spent calculator, your dodge calculator down here. This is a new one. This is your bells damage calculator. Again, it's pretty much standalone because it's bells. Not everyone uses bells. Each section has a little red diamond that tells you what they're looking for in there. Okay, so this basically will calculate how much damage your bells are doing. So I guess it could be considered the EDPS of bells. Over here is basically more of a chart than a calculator, but this calculator is built on a discussion by one of our members who sat down and did a lot of math and calculated how many targets it would take and at what percent crit hit chance before Sweeping Wind overtook Fisted Thunder as a primary damage dealer. So what you can do is you can just highlight this here. So if you have one target, you can see that Fisted Thunder DPS has a higher weighting than does Sweeping Wind DPS. Now the weighting is just a term I assigned. Basically, whatever number is higher, that's the most, or doing the most damage. So as I go to 2, you can see that Sweeping Wind DPS overtakes it. So for me, based on my crit hit chance, for 2 monsters, if I'm fighting 2 monsters at once, I do more damage using Sweeping Wind than I would Fisted Thunder. So now if I went to Ubers, it might be beneficial to swap out my Sweeping Wind Inez helm for more of a Fisted Thunder helm. Okay, so that's that. Again, we have the plus that takes you to the forum post that dealt with that. I got rid of the attack speed, submission, and there was another tab up here because I thought that was kind of cluttering it. And I kept the Wan Kim Lao, or the Wan Kim Lao calculator just because lots of people have those. Back here is the meat of it, calculations and constants. You guys don't need to do anything on this. In fact, I'll probably have it hidden when I release it, but you can unhide it if you want to. But this is where all the magic happens back here. So I won't talk anymore about that. Okay, so that's basically it. Like I said, I cut everything down. I think made it a little bit more succinct, made it more user-friendly, I hope, and automated quite a few things. So just to recap real quick, the only tabs you really need to worry about are your input section, your input tab down here, right? These yellows up here, and your buffs. What kind of skills, active and passive, you're going to use. So that's about it, guys. If there's any other questions, let me know, and just drop me a line in the post. Alright, later.